Hey, thanks so much for tuning into the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. Today is Talk About It Tuesday, and we're going through faith. Hebrews chapter 11, and verse 1 gives us the definition of faith. It says, "Now faith is the confidence in what we hope for and the assurance about what we do not see." Now, Hebrews chapter 11 talks about men and women in the Bible, throughout the whole Bible, and talks about their faith journey. And by faith, they did this, and by faith, they did this.
It's really like a highlight reel of their faith. Yesterday, we talked about an interesting character.
Yeah, we talked about Abel.
We did, but today we're going to talk about Noah, and it's actually only in verse 7 of Hebrews 11.
It says, "By faith, Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, in holy fear, he built an ark to save his family. By his faith, he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness that is in keeping with faith."
Now, I think most of us are familiar with the story of Noah. Noah's the one that heard from God, and God said, "It's going to rain. There's going to be a flood. I'm going to destroy the world." He was very upset with the sin that had become running rampant in the world. And so he wanted to start over, so to speak. And so with that, he entrusted Noah with the foreseeing the future. I mean, if you think about it like that, he told him, "Hey, this is what's going to happen, and here's what I want you to do." Many of us are familiar with that story and him building the ark. If you aren't, maybe you've seen Evan Almighty. However, I encourage you to read the real thing.
It's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible. But in this story, there's so many things we could talk about. But what we want to highlight today is this idea of how was Noah treated when he responded to God in faith. What did the people around him begin to say? You know, here he is, not a drop of rain had fallen from the sky, and yet he's building this boat. And you can think about it, his faith in action caused people to talk, right? People started to notice something about him, notice something peculiar that didn't fit into what they were used to.
And not in a positive way either.
No. They weren't like, "Wow, you're amazing."
They looked at me like, "What are you doing?" Like, they hadn't even seen a boat and not even a drop of rain. And so he's like, why would he do that?
And really what they did is they ridiculed him. You know, the Bible talks about them coming and making fun of him and discouraging him, really is their goal, probably because they couldn't understand what they didn't understand, right? They didn't have that faith in God that he did. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever had a time as you were living out your faith? Maybe it affected the way that you acted or talked or dressed or the way you spent your money, the way you spent your time, as it should, right? As we learn to implement our faith everywhere, it should affect every area of our life. But have you experienced people ridiculing you for it?
What an interesting question. And maybe you have. I want to encourage you to talk about it with somebody else. Somebody that you know. I want you to be an encouragement to that other person and have that other person be an encouragement to you. Because you know, we shouldn't be surprised by that, because the Word of God says, "In this world we will face trouble. But take heart, for I have overcome it." So we will face some opposition, but let's be an encouragement to one another. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for another Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.